about a stiff neck. So, if you've ever woken up with a stiff neck, or you've gone to the doctor and he's told you that you have a wry neck, that's wry neck, right? Or torticollis, also it's called as torticollis as well. So, before we move ahead, my name is Swati, and I'm a physiotherapist, and I do these videos to bring about awareness to people about common conditions that I see every day in my work. So, if you're watching me on the Facebooks or Instagram, please go over to my YouTube, and if you like what you're watching, please subscribe to my channel so the next time I come live, you are notified. If you're watching me on the live, say hello so I know you're here. Or if you're watching me in the replay, just comment #replay so I know you've been here. All right. So today we're going to talk about a stiff neck or a wry neck. So basically, sorry. So, have you ever woken up and then you feel, oh, my neck, it doesn't feel right? You have this sudden stiffness or the pain that comes in the neck, and you felt like, oh, I probably slept in the wrong position, right? So, that's happened to many of us. It's a very common occurrence. It's happened to me as well. So, this is known as torticollis or wry neck. So, torticollis, the term is usually associated with younger kids and babies who have trauma within the birth canal, or like when during delivery, or if they are held in a certain position where the neck is tilted to one side, tilted and rotated. So that is known as torticollis. So in the adults, it's usually known as a wry neck, wry neck. So we're going to talk more about the adult version. We're not going into the pediatric or the kids version of wry neck. Okay, so usually wry neck can happen because of two reasons. So in your cervical spine, you've got your discs, the intervertebral discs that are present between every two vertebrae. So it could happen because of a disc problem, or it could happen because of a facet joint problem. Now, facet joints are basically joints that are present on either side of your vertebra, right? So let's talk about the more common one, which is a facet joint wry neck. It's also called a facetal wry neck. So this is a sudden or severe pain that happens. So you wake up suddenly, you're like, you've been fine, you've slept right, and you suddenly wake up and you're like, ow, like I'm stuck. So usually, if say my left side is affected, my neck will be tilted away from the left side. So if my left is affected, it'll be like I'll be tilted away and then rotated. And the moment I try and come back to this neutral position, there's a sharp shooting pain on the left side of my spine. You may not be able to differentiate it. You might feel that it's just coming from your spine, from your cervical spine. That's all right. A physio can diagnose it for you. So a similar condition happens in your lumbar spine as well, which is your lower back, where you have a locked facet. I'll explain to you what a locked facet is. So you have a locked facet and you suddenly feel like this, I just can't move. Like say you bent over to pick up something, or there's been a sudden jerk, you just dropped something, like I did a few years ago. I dropped a very heavy Dutch oven. It was about to drop and I held on to it, and in that process I got this little catch in my back. It's exactly how patients describe it, catch in the back, and I knew I had locked my facet joint. Anyway, so I'll explain to you what we can do about it. So what happens is the facet joints are basically these joints on either side of your vertebra of your spine. They're present at every level, like every vertebra, right? So it's present between the upper vertebra and the lower vertebra. So basically it's like, if I'm looking at one side, it's like this facet joint here. So every joint, you can take it through a range. So for example, if you look at my index finger here, this is the range of motion for this joint, right? Now what happens is, if I take it through the joint and then I take it beyond that joint, sometimes it cannot come back, right? So then the joint gets locked. So that's exactly what has happened to your facet. It has gotten locked in that position, and it just can't come back out because the muscles around it have gone into a spasm, and they will not let it come out of that position, because this spasm is protective. Your body's trying to protect you by the muscles going into spasm. That's a normal mechanism, protective mechanism of your body. However, it doesn't work very well, because then your facet's not able to come back to its original position. So every single time you try and move that neck, you feel like it's a very, very sharp shooting pain. It's like somebody is stabbing a knife in. It's that bad. Okay, so but thankfully, facetal Rhinex only last about a week to 10 days, especially if you get your physiotherapy done and you get it mobilized, and the physio will help you get rid of the muscle spasm, etc. It usually lasts you about a week to 10 days only. However, discogenic Rhinex, so those originating from your cervical disc, so intervertebral disc, take a long time. They take about 4 to 6 weeks, but then they are not so acute with the pain, thankfully. So they give you a dull, achy pain. And just looking at my notes here, and yeah, the onset is gradual, so it's not like you suddenly wake up one day, you feel like something's coming on, and then after a certain number of days you feel, okay, my neck is locked and I cannot really move it around. Now remember when I said if your left side is affected with your facetal Rhineck, you will be tilted away. With a discogenic Rhineck, if you have a problem with the disc, you usually tilt it towards. Anyway, I'm not teaching you to diagnose here, but it's just one of the major differences. Another major difference is in the facetal Rhineck, the muscle spasm isn't that great, but the lack of range of motion, basically lack of movement, because of that sharp shooting pain is more prominent. With the discogenic Rhineck, you will have more muscle spasm. You'll be able to move your neck around without a sharp shooting pain, but you'll have a lot of muscle spasm. Anyway, it doesn't matter if you can't differentiate, that's okay. Your doctor or physiotherapist can help you do that. And the management is about the same. Basically tackling the muscle spasm and inflammation. Okay, what can you do at home for this condition? It's quite simple. Use a hot pack if you've got the muscle spasm. I always say cold pack is for inflammation. If you feel a lot of soreness, you can use a cold pack, but usually with Rhinex, hot packs work very well. Another thing you can do is immobilize the neck. So you don't want to be trying to come out of that position all the time, right? Out of this tilted and rotated position. So what you're going to do is, if you have a collar, you use the cervical collar to immobilize your spine, or else take a big pillow cover, fold it into like 3/4. So basically your pillow cover is that big, you basically fold it into this, so it covers the width of my neck, and then wrap it around and probably just tie it up with a safety pin, or if you're not sure, just tuck it in. So then at least your neck is immobilized and it is supported, because those muscles are in spasm. They are not able to support that area very well. The muscles are in spasm. The moment you support that area, they will also let go a little bit. So then you can get to your physio. They can help you with tackling this condition, managing this condition for you. Alrighty, so in case, and also yes, muscle imbalances, because you'll have that muscle spasm. If it goes on for a long time, you might develop some muscle imbalances. If you have developed this condition because of a discogenic Rhineck, you probably have a few muscle imbalances, like some tight muscles, some weak muscles. So you need to do exercises. Your physio can guide you with that as well. If you do suffer from this condition, and or if you have any questions about neck pain or Rhineck, or any issues with the neck in general, with the cervical spine, you can get in touch with me. And yeah, feel free to ask your questions. You can pop into my Facebook group. I have a free Facebook group where we address such conditions and cervical issues, where I talk about some exercises that you can do for your cervical spine as well. So yeah, if you want to see that, please pop into my free Facebook group. I'll leave a link in the description below. Alrighty, it was good talking to you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.